What is up, everybody? This is Michael C. Back at it with another video. And I am here with two people. Introduce yourself.
I'm Jasmine. Hi. Michael's girlfriend, the only girl he gonna have.
Help me. No, but I'm here with her, and I'm also here with
Marcellus Williams, the only man Michael ever gonna have.
y'all saw Marcellus in my last video. We trained together, and now we're here today to get our body fat percentages tested. We're getting a Dexa scan. If you've never heard of it, I'm not sure what it stands for or any of that, but I just know that it's like the most accurate way that you can test your body fat. Like there's a lot of other ways out there, like the calipers and like the bipod and all that. But if any of you have ever heard or looked into any of those are a lot of times pretty inaccurate, and you'll come out with like 1%, 2%, 3%. Marcellus, he actually...
I did, it was like hydrostatic weighing, either like a year or two ago, but I don't think she performed the test right. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be completely submerged. She submerged me up to my neck though, and they put me at like 3% body fat. And I was like, and the best part was when we saw the numbers, I knew something was up, but she was just like, oh wow, you're really, really lean. And I was just like, ha ha.
Yeah, I'm actually dead.
Yeah, right? Like, so definitely, so this was my first time getting a Dexa scan, so I'm very curious to see like where I'm sitting at.
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people, like if you talk to most people in the general public, if you ask them, like, what do you think like lean is, they'll say, you know, 1%, 2%. Some people say 0%.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize that you have to have body fat to even live.
Yeah.
So it's
I feel like a big part of that is one, like kind of the bodybuilding scene, you know, they're like usually below 10% when they're on stage. But I also think it's like, you brought this up too, like when they do like body fat percent checks on like athletes, I don't know how they're testing it, but they're like, oh yeah, this football player is like 3%, and there's all kinds of crazy
stuff. No,
there was,
it was literally, it was a big thing like in the news. If y'all know who DK Metcalf is, if you keep up with the NFL at all, he was drafted by the Seahawks, and it was like a big thing that he was like 1.5% body fat.
Right.
And
like that man would not be playing football.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to function if you were that lean.
Yeah, like I'm completely unhealthy.
Yeah, but anyway, we're gonna get this test in, and me, I've had a test in the past, or I've had a couple in the past. In the last one, I was like 9.5% body fat, something like that. I think I'm a little bit less lean than that now, like closer to 10 and a half. What do you think, Marcellus?
I feel like I'm probably closer to like 11, maybe like even 12%. Like a couple of years ago, I definitely think I was closer to like that 9-10% range just because I was leaner. But I've been eating in a pretty consistent surplus over the past couple of years, like a gradual one, of course, but with the muscle gain has been obviously a little bit of fat gain as well. So I think I'm probably, whatever he is, I would probably myself at least maybe 1%, 0.5% higher, but won't know until we go in there to see, because like how you store fat is different from person to person. So figure it out.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was just a little bit more lean than him, not like 5 or 6%, but you know.
I hope not.
Nah, if I get in there and I'm 5% or something like that, then
should be it. I'm gonna have you stop powerlifting.
Yeah, but should be a few minutes now, and after that we'll get the test in and everything, and we'll see what that comes out like. So I'll talk to y'all in a little bit.
Your hips to the right just a hair. Beautiful. I'm going to touch your ankles for just a moment. I'm going to have you scoot your hips to the right just a little bit more for me. Yeah, perfect. Now I'm going to touch your ankles again. There we go. You can have your palms face your body and bring your arms into close to your body. Beautiful, just like that. Hold that for me. As this is going, just lay still and silently. As soon as the arm passes your head, you're more than welcome to talk, and I'll let you know when. And once the arm passes your fingertips, you can move your arms, and I'll let you know when.
Gotcha.
But yeah, just hang tight and get started. Is called a Dexa scanner. Dexa technology is not new by any means. It's been around for well over 25 years at this point, so it's been proven very safe, accurate, and effective for a long time. It was originally created for bone mineral density and actually not body composition. Although it's been able to do body composition to a certain degree, it's been in the past 10 years that we've enhanced the Dexa technology to do what we do here at Live Lean RX, and that's called an advanced body composition measurement, meaning that the Dexa is capable of much more than just a simple body fat percentage. It's actually measuring the 3 things that make up all of us: our fat mass, lean mass, and bone mass. It's measuring those 3 things down to a 10th of a pound. It's going to give us some details. You're more than welcome to talk to me about it.
So on average, I think I told them that in terms of like just health, usually for men it can be anywhere between 10 to 20%. Is that pretty close to accurate? And then what is it for women usually? Like the range of
Absolutely. So it's kind of, you can, we have this little chart up here. It's kind of based on age as well. And so we have, average, ideal, and lean as well. So kind of, women, we are obviously naturally going to carry more fat because we are meant to bear children.
Right.
But so it kind of, it's skewed with, I don't say skewed, but it, correlates with your age and sex. So I don't want to say, oh, all men or all women should be here, because that wouldn't be accurate.
Sure. Very general.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look out with lean mass is symmetry, or left versus right. So we're going to see exactly how big your left arm is versus your right arm, which is just kind of cool to know. More importantly, what we like to look at is our legs, left versus right. People with significant muscular imbalances in their legs typically more prone to injuries, including their hips, back, and joints. So we'll see if you have any muscular asymmetry.
That'll be interesting because I've known that my left leg's always a little bit bigger than my right, and I, especially the past year, tried to work on bringing that up. So it's not as bad as it used to be, but I'm curious to see what that would look like.
Absolutely. Did you sustain an injury or anything?
No, never had an injury. I think
just like my left.
Yeah. 12.1.
It's right here. 12.1%
Hey,
body fat.
Okay. Okay, so my guess was close. Awesome.
Absolutely.
12.1. Oh no, it's not off. It's just blacks out. It's fine. So it's got you guys at 12.1% body fat.
This will be our total mass.
169.9. Fat tissue.
I'll go over all of this.
Okay, awesome.
I figure we'll do his two.
Awesome.
We'll do them side.
Depends on what kind of video it is. So there's kind of 3 types of videos that I do. There's the straightforward videos where I sit and I talk to the camera about fitness. When I started watching a lot of fitness YouTube around 2012, a lot of channels were really cool, they were really informative, stuff. But then they all kind of started.
I just give you your tests, I give you results, but I don't have a workout regimen to give you. I don't have an exercise prescription, But people, oh, would you know a good gym I can go to? Or I did have a gentleman who was like, I want to work out at home. Who can give me at home workouts?
Gotcha.
So I'm a bargainista. I like to spend money to save money. So we have ways. We have packages that we offer, which immediately make things a little bit more economically savvy, if you will. So your packages, like I said, so absolutely. You're more welcome to get up. Yes, absolutely.
Moment of truth.
Michael just finished his. Let's see.
My calves look bigger than me.
Yeah, boy, stop lying to yourself. What calves?
There we go.
And Michael, for you, we said we guessed you're around, we said 10 and 11, I think.
Yeah, mid-10s.
Yeah, so like I said, we're just gonna take us through all the numbers and what it all means. But like you guys can see, I am 12%, so right about where I guess. So I'm curious to see if Michael's at the point that we guess as well. So I guess we'll see in a second.
Yes. Oh, and before we get off this page, I want to show you a few regions, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I talk about our arms, that's going to be the center of our shoulder here, out and down through our fingertips. The center of our shoulder here, out and down through our fingertips. Our legs are going to be the top of our pelvic girdle here and down through our toes, down through our toes. Our trunk is going to be the top of our shoulders here to the top of our pelvic girdle, that entire center region.
Okay.
And over here, this top magenta box is that android region that I discussed with visceral fat. And this bottom magenta box is our gynoid region. Basically, as humans, your fat is either going to go here or here. Either your gut or your butt and thighs.
Right.
So those are the 2 technical regions that they, go to. Oh, and then all right, moment of truth. What'd you say you were?
About 10 and a half.
Man, y'all are killing it.
10.4.
10.4?
Yeah.
Look at that, right? Yeah, right where we guessed, man.
Yeah.
Pretty good at this. Pretty good at this whole guessing thing.
Yeah.
So we can sit in here and go over our results, or we can go back into the conference room if that might be better.
The conference
Which is this black number. This blue number is, of course, our total mass, the sum of our fat, lean, and bone. Our fat tissue is going to be that red number, and that's the sum of all fatty tissue in you, including things that don't go away, like our brain and bone marrow. So let's say everything is kind of written out, like our brain and bone marrow, because there are fatty components within those as well.
Right.
Ideally for men, what is optimal average, and genetics plays a huge role in that for our fat tissue, is between 20 and 35 pounds. So you guys are doing, you know what I mean? Obviously it's okay to have less than that. Like I said, it's optimal average, and those are our goals. So nothing alarming, actually killing it. So lean tissue, that green number is going to be the sum of our muscles, organs, blood, and stomach contents. So yeah, so our organs and blood don't vary, and our stomach contents only vary so much. So if this green number is fluctuating at all, it's going to be due to muscle mass, of course. If it's going up or down, of course, we don't want to lose muscle, we want to maintain or gain.
Right.
So we need proper protein consumption, which I'm sure you guys are very well versed in. But, but what is recommended is to consume 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of that lean tissue. And of course, on days you're working out more, you're going to be on the higher end of that. And as we continue to build muscle, of course, that's also going to shift upward as well. Bone mineral content is our next number. So this is going to be the weight of the mineral content within your skeleton, not the weight of your skeleton, if you will. And that fat-free number is going to be either the addition of our lean and bone mineral content or subtract your fat from your total mass. And that's how we get that. These next graphs will kind of make more sense on subsequent scans. As you can see, the point plotted is, of course, today's measurement of the blue will be our total mass, red is our fat mass, and the green is our lean. And as you can see, color coordinated from up here as well. So basically, this is, today's measurement will, in the future, be our baseline, then whatever the previous scan was, and then, that current scan. So we're just gonna get a trending line, if you will. Am I gaining weight? Am I losing weight? Am I staying the same? Same with our fat mass. Okay, am I losing fat? Am I staying the same? And same with our lean. So you can really see, okay, I might be losing fat and gaining lean, but my total mass is staying the same. So you can really see how your fat and lean affect your total, if you will.
Right.
Just get some trending lines there, your overall trend of seeing how we're doing. This bottom is the regional body composition analysis. We have the arms, legs, and trunk, that android and gynoid regions that I pointed out. These numbers are kind of for you to go through on your own, if you will, and nitpick through. But what we do is we grab that android and gynoid number and we throw them on top of each other for an AG ratio. All right, AG ratio is going to be down here. AG ratio is just basically saying your android over your gynoid is what we like is your gynoid to be bigger than your android, if you will. So we like this number to be less than 1. So with this being said, you gentlemen are extremely fit as you see this. So AG ratio is a useful tool. I like to compare it to BMI though. As in, BMI can be useful, but it's easily skewed.
Right.
That's this.
Gotcha.
You guys are easily skewed.
Gotcha.
Visceral fat trumps AG ratio, and visceral fat is up here. And that's going to be a measurement of your actual visceral fat around your organs. As you see, yes, it says NA right now. My Dexa machine, it has the technology and the knowledge. I just don't have the program to read it right now. So I emailed this to my boss. He's going to put it through his program and email you back. And today being Saturday, so you get it early next week.
Okay.
So you'll get your visceral fat results. There's 2 ways to measure visceral fat mass in pounds or volume in cubic inches. Basically, fat mass in pounds, if you're over 3 pounds, it's going to put you at a very high level of risk. Volume in cubic inches, this number is going to put you into one of these gradients, if you will. So depending on whatever that is, will tell us if you're ideal, increased risk, or at risk. So, and like I said, you'll have that early next week. So yeah, y'all's AG ratio is not like what we'd want, but it's very, y'all are skewed. Y'all are part of that, if you will. Y'all are both very, very fit individuals.
What is even with BMI, I think it puts me at extremely overweight.
Yeah, it's like you get so much muscle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I like to, so you totally understand the analogy. You're falling in love. So this is you. This imaging is of you. So that bright orange is going to be our lean, and that bright yellow is going to be our fat. So you can see exactly where what is and where you carry what, and how dense those muscles are. That bright, vibrant orange just means more muscle, if you will. Yes. Right next to that blue graph, this is going to be our bone mineral density comparison graph. So this 50 right here, that's going to be the 50th percentile, that's average. That 50 right here, that's 50th percentile, that's average. Both of you guys are through the roof. This tells us you're at the 96th percentile, this tells us you're at the 99th percentile. And whenever I say it's comparing you to the average you, which means age, gender, and ethnicity. So, and y'all are resistance training is what builds strong bones. It's what increases your mineral content. It's what helps preserve and build. So obviously you guys do that. Y'all do that. So
there's health benefits to what we do.
Yes.
What do you know?
So yes, you have strong bones. Keep it up. This chart down here just kind of breaks down where things are at, if you will. Obviously that's showing the white over here is our skeleton, and that's the density. So yes. It's going to be our muscle mass balance analysis, our left versus right. So you can see our right arm versus our left arm. Your right arm is 0.4 stronger, if you will, like of lean mass. Nothing alarming or significant there. And your left arm is 0.5 stronger, if you will. Are you left-handed?
I'm actually right-handed, so.
Yeah. About to say, stupid. Yeah. And then we have our right and left legs. It looks like our right leg is a pound stronger. And over here you have a 0.3 difference.
Hey,
so,
awesome. I've brought that imbalance up. It used to be like pretty significantly.
I was about to say 0.3. I'm like, it is the same.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
The rest of those numbers are for you to go over again. We just look at that, musculature, if you will. And then this is going to be like a trending report. You'll have up to 6 scans side by side, so you can see how you kind of transform. And this graph is kind of like your quick stats, if you will, all condensed into a chart, and each subsequent scan will just, stack beneath that, so you can immediately compare and contrast and, see, oh, where was I at 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago.
Okay, awesome. And how often would you recommend someone get one to kind of have like a consistent looking trend?
I would say 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
you give yourself time to change. Give yourself time to, build muscle, lose out, whatever it may be.
Right.
You got to give yourself time to change, if you will, or else you kind of get discouraged if you come back too quickly because you don't see any changes.
Sure. You're not going to see much difference in 3 weeks.
Right. Absolutely. So, but what I also really like, whenever you do subsequent scans, you can compare and contrast, like, oh, I did this workout regimen or this diet program between these 2 scans, or I did this, so you can really see what works and what doesn't work.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
So as a trainer, it helps you a lot because, people are like, oh, my scale, I haven't lost any weight, or I've only lost 5 pounds. It's like, well, you've actually lost 10 pounds of muscle, you've lost 10 pounds of fat,
right.
You've gained 5 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's something I teach all the time is like the recompositioning. And then even with this, how because it's a new trend now. It used to be focusing on the scale. Now some people almost get overly focused on their body fat. Like, oh, I gotta be sub 10% because the whole bodybuilding scene. It's like, no, you don't really want to walk around sub 10%.
Yeah.
Like you said, genetic outliers. Like some people walk around closer to that, obviously. But like we said, 3% body fat, probably not the healthiest place to be.
Right, I'm about to say, if you're not on a competition day or whatever, but that you can't live life.
Exactly.
You can't live
life.
So, absolutely.
Awesome.
So, but it helps you, say, look how much I'm improving you. Look how much you're improving in you. Or they can say, hey, nothing's changing.
Right.
It keeps accountability on all parts, if you will.
Right.
And it gets them excited. It gets them, when they see that they've improved, they come in here and they see that they've improved, they've gained muscle, they've lost fat, they're feeling good.
Right.
It makes them want to come back to you and continue doing what you're doing.
And it's all relative too, because it's I'm actually surprised that we guessed accurately, because that's a common question. People those things hey, what body fat do you think I am? I'm like, dude, there's no way I can guess that by just looking at you, because it looks
this
different.
This job taught me. I definitely can't guess.
It looks different on different people. Like Michael and I, I wouldn't even guess there was a whole 2% difference between us necessarily. So it's all about how
we guess that I would be a little bit leaner, but
not
like that.
Maybe 1%. So yeah, and I still think I look better than this guy. So.
I was about to say, y'all were talking about negligible differences.
Exactly.
Well, awesome. This was dope.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you have any questions for me? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, actually, yeah, I think I have one. So the bright yellow is kind of where
our fat
stores. So for me, that's kind of more here, in the hip area and the top. Okay. And then I guess this part here is we were talking about with
the brain and stuff.
Right?
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not obviously your head.
Okay. Cool. Okay, yeah, I did have a question. Okay, so as far as the bones, the 99 percentile compared to 96. So what's that looking like? Just density?
Yes, that's the mineral content within your skeleton.
Okay.
So within your bones, it's the density of your bones, if you will, the innards.
Okay.
If you will.
Okay, got it.
So yeah.
Got it. All right, cool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, y'all both have very strong bones. You're good. Nothing, not alarming at all.
Sweet, I think that's all the questions I pretty much had. You're pretty thorough with everything.
No, the Dexa
awesome.
is very, very interesting.
Let's go a little bit of room. Give some more. Shout out to the Hodge ones. No. All right, guys. So we're pretty much done through like the main focus of our workouts. Michael has a few accessories left, and I have like one superset left with lateral raises and tricep press downs. But I also have my housewarming today, so I'm trying to like get this part of the video done and get over there, help the wifey out, get set up. So what we're pretty much gonna do, guys, is kind of just go through our numbers. Like you kind of heard a brief overview. I haven't decided how I'm gonna like chop the clips up for that yet, but we're gonna like just go through a comparison of Michael and I to kind of just give you guys an idea of certain things as it relates to, yes, your health, which we kind of covered already in the video, but then also like from more of a powerlifting standpoint to kind of follow up that video I did, I think, I don't know, like 3 or 4 videos ago where I talked about like, you know, the importance of your height, your leverages, your weight, how all that plays into account. But regardless of that, for you as an individual, if you're trying to get bigger, yeah, you're trying to get bigger. Well, let's just get right into it. So for our total mass, I weighed in at 169.9 pounds for the Dexa scan. And Michael, what'd you weigh in at?
I was 171.9, so just a little bit heavier.
Okay. And then for our body fat percentage, I came in at 12.1.
And I came in at 10.4.
So we legit guessed like perfectly where we're gonna be, which makes me think that where I think I was 2 years ago, I said I think I was probably about 10%, have gone up maybe about 1% each year. I think it's pretty accurate for me.
Yeah, and the last I got a Dexa scan, I want to say like 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that, and I was like 9.6%.
Yeah.
So I predicted that. Obviously, I'm just a little bit less lean.
But you're also more muscular, right?
Yeah.
Because you gained about 8 pounds, you said?
Yeah, so that was about right. I was like 161 at that time, and now 169 or 171.
Yeah, so for me, my fat tissue is 20.6 pounds of my weight is fat tissue, and then Michael's is 17.9.
Yeah, 17.9.
So, which makes sense because my body fat percentage is a little bit higher. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So, my lean tissue, as far as like lean mass, is 141.5 pounds, and then Michael's, what's yours?
Mine is 146.8.
So that's 5 more pounds than me. So this is what I'm kind of talking about, guys, in terms of as far as optimality, like not to brag on myself, but like Michael is training very optimally right now in terms of like the coaching he's getting. And of course,
It's all right.
my bad. No, and then of course, and Brenda's taking really care of me as far as training optimality. So neither of us are slacking on how hard we're working, our sleep or nutrition. But the very fact that Michael he's an inch shorter than me. He's got slightly shorter leverages than me, and he's got 5 more pounds of muscle mass. And as I've explained to you guys, how much strength you get per pound of muscle mass varies from individual to individual. If we both put a pound of muscle on us, we're both going to get stronger in whatever area that muscle's involved in, right? Like we both add a pound of muscle to our chest, both our bench is going to go up, but how much just depends on the person. That's where the leverages and stuff come in handy. But it kind of shows you where that gap is. Like I said, Michael's ranked like pretty much like in the top 3. I'm number 35 right now. And there's that much range from simple things like he's an inch shorter and just has 5 more pounds of mass. But that's how much of a difference that stuff can make when it comes to like the gene pool as a whole, pretty much. Then for bone mineral content for me in terms of pounds, 7.8.
Mine is 7.3.
So my bone mineral is like a little bit denser and I'm a little bit heavier than Michael's. So that's pretty much how that goes. Now, next thing I kind of want to cover, here we go. Let's kind of go over like our size from left to right,
Okay.
and then the differences in terms of like how much, like where we kind of store like our muscle and stuff like that in terms of how heavy it is. So for my arms in total, it's 22.7 pounds. My right arm is 11.5. My left arm is 11.1, so that's like a 0.4 difference. What's yours, Michael?
So mine in total is 24.3. So again, just slightly higher than Marcella's. My right arm is 11.9, and my left arm is 12.4.
So that's interesting. So he carries more overall mass on his upper body than me by a little bit, but we can tell that like the discrepancy between his left and right is different from mine, which honestly makes sense because I've kind of been on top of like working on imbalances and accessory working that way a little bit longer than Michael. He's getting back on it now, so I bet over the next few months that kind of like catches up and changes. For our legs, for our leg total, my total is 47.6 pounds. and my right leg is 24, and my left leg is 23.6, which I'm really happy with because, like, you guys maybe heard me mention earlier in the video, a couple years back, like, my left leg was kind of significantly bigger than my right one, and it wasn't even so much, like, I've done the video for guys to explain, it's not so much barbell versus dumbbell, it's just about equal distribution of tension. Like, if you're using dumbbells but you're going like this, one side's still working more, right? Whereas if you're with a barbell, you're nice and even. So just cleaning up my technique as a whole, on top of like specific like single leg accessory work, I think will really help bring that up a lot. So it's nice to know there's like minimal difference as far as that. But what's yours on your lower body?
So for me, the total is 48.7. My right leg is 24.8, and my left leg is 23.9. Which that's a little bit surprising to me that there's not a bigger difference between Marcel's and I, just because of the difference in lower body strength.
Yeah, exactly. That's what shocked me. I honestly thought our upper bodies would be closer, and our lower bodies would be further apart. Granted, they're not further apart at all for either, but due to how much more he squats and pulls, I thought it'd be that much. But if you kind of look at our leg ratios, our legs aren't.
We're built very
similar. Like, so it's not even so much that his legs are that much bigger than mine, but once again, the leverage aspect, right? Like, he has to pull a slightly shorter range of motion as far as the deads. And then squats, honestly, bro, I think part of that's like the muscle fiber distribution type. I think we're just explosive, stuff like that. So that was pretty interesting. And then in terms of the rest of the stuff, guys probably aren't interested. And then, once again, for the bone mineral content, I'm in the 99th percentile in terms of like where the average is, because the average for us is 1.3. Mine's 2.4, so I'm like in the 99th percentile, and Michael, you're at the 90.
I'm in the 96th percentile,
Yeah.
which it makes sense that mine's slightly lower because I'm a little bit younger than Marcellus.
Yeah,
So obviously as you get older,
your bones will like develop more and strengthen more. That's something else I'll tell you guys too, like resistance training or not, like that whole grown man strength thing is real, because as you get older, you get like your muscles start to develop more, same with the bone density, everything like that. But I think for the most part, because we have to wait for them to email the part as far as our, was it like the fat stuff like that?
The visceral fat.
Yeah, the visceral fat versus where the other is. But I mean, obviously both of us are pretty relatively lean. But the main thing for me, guys, that I want to kind of like just express was the fact that, like, okay, so Michael's 10%, I'm 12%, but we're both higher than what we were a year or two ago. A little bit less lean, but we feel good. We're performing well, and beyond that, man, like, I'm not silly in this mindset of like, oh, Michael's leaner than me, I need to cut down, like, 'cause that's stupid. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like I said, in terms of health, more often than not, you don't want to be below 10 or above 20 for a male. And I'll have whatever the numbers are for female on screen at some point during the video, maybe even during this part. But for powerlifting, this is the main thing we're trying to emphasize, right? As far as if you're trying to just maximize your genetic potential and how competitive you can be, whether you're in the top 10, top 30, whatever it may be, you basically want to be like the shortest, the leanest, but also like heaviest you can be in your weight class. So like both Michael and I are actually, like, we walk around at this point heavier than our weight class because we compete at 163. There was a point where I remember I was competing under like 158, 160, and I had to eat a lot to get to 163.
Same.
But ever since been sitting above the weight class and just do a little bit of water and food manipulation to make weight, I feel so much better because like you're heavier, right? More mass, more force production, but we're both relatively lean, so we don't have a bunch of unnecessary additional body fat on us, which to me is good because, like, if you have unnecessary body fat on you, you could potentially either be in a lower weight class, which makes you more competitive, or beyond that, make your cuts easier to your weight class you're trying to get into. That's why, honestly, for health, 10 to 20, but for powerlifting, we were talking about this, we think being between like 10 and 15% is where you want to be.
It's like a perfect range.
Yeah.
It kind of has to be a balance because obviously you don't want to be too lean. You don't want to be walking around 7%.
Right.
Stage ready.
Right.
And you're trying to compete.
Exactly.
But you also don't want to be 25%.
Exactly.
Because at that point, the extra mass isn't doing you any good.
Exactly. That's what people understand. Like, so yeah, to a certain degree, more fat on you can help you with certain lifts, especially things like bench, but only to such a point where it's like, okay, is it worth doing all the cutting and the manipulation you have to do to get from like the 20% body fat, like just to get like 5 pounds on your bench, where you can just build it up through actual strength and muscle mass. So hashtag in-fat powerlifting, embrace the craftsmanship. That needs to start happening. But I think that's pretty much all we kind of want to cover as far as that, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We already said that we were pretty much spot on with what we predicted beforehand.
Yeah. Like I'm honestly like, I always tell you guys, that doesn't change. This doesn't change. Like, you really can't tell someone's body fat percentage by just looking at them. Because if you look at Michael and I, someone would probably guess we're like the same practically. And it's all about where you store your fat, which is interesting. Mine, that's one thing we didn't kind of go over, but I kind of store mine more like in the hip area apparently.
Yeah.
And then there was like some like towards my feet or whatever, which is interesting.
And I store it like in my lower body, which I figured, and and also a little bit like in the trunk region.
Yeah, I definitely store more in my lower body compared to my body as a whole. But long story short, I think that's pretty much it. So I'm probably gonna close this video out back at the crib, but that's it for the Dexa scan for me.
All right, so we just left the gym. We just finished training. And I think we covered pretty much everything that we wanted to cover, but I just wanted to close out this video. As you can see, we got the Dexa scan, and it was a fun little thing to do, but also I think it really showed us, well, we already knew pretty much, we predicted beforehand where things would fall, but it kind of shows that to be true, that the people at the top of the class are typically leaner, stronger, more muscular, and that's pretty much what the results were. Me being 10.4% and being slightly heavier, and Marcellus being 12.1 or whatever his was, and him being slightly lighter. But obviously that 12% is still very lean, very healthy, but just that's where the difference is with people that are still strong versus people at the top of the weight class. But I think that's all that I have. Look at the waves. You like the waves? See?
Yeah, right.
Y'all see that? Y'all see how she treats me? I know y'all like the waves. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you haven't checked out Marcellus Williams, aka the Theswolefessor channel, go check his out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, and I'll also have it somewhere on here in the video. But that is all I have, and I will see you guys next time.